I'm Kelly Boles from Betsy Lane High School. I teach math. And so my project is about AP statistics, but it's also about computer programming, which is another class I teach. So the idea came from a student I had last year in stats. This is my 4th year teaching stat. And a student I had last year was really close to passing that test in the year. But one thing that I saw he got less invested when the data sets were sort of manufactured. The data had come from, numbers that I'd pulled from this study or that study that weren't really values that he was interested in. But if I gave him data about exercise or about fitness or about vitamins or supplements, he loved it. He was all about it, and he wanted to say, well, what effect did these things have? And that's really the questions we want students to ask and be able to answer with the data. So I thought to myself, if I can give these kids or get them to generate their own data that they are truly interested in, how much further can we go as far as discussion and as far as inquiry into what the numbers are telling us? And so my solution to this, we hope, or we're going to see this year, is buy them an Xbox. And so my grant is for an Xbox One and Connect. It is for games. We purchased Minecraft, Forza, which is a racing game, the Connect Sports Rivals game where you can play all kinds of different sports, and then a Guitar Hero. All of these generate data in different ways, quantitative and categorical data. And so we can analyze them just in the basic way with graphs. We can talk about experimental design. So maybe you change one setting before you race your car the next lap. How does that differentiation or that change of level of the variable affect the result? Maybe we can figure out what the optimal settings are for your car to win and defeat all the other possible settings. So there's the data creation, there's the design or the display, there's the experimental design. We can also do inference. Okay, so inference is like sort of prediction, regression, linear analysis. We can do z-scores and really talk about what is a z-score. What does it mean truly that your data is 1.5 standard deviations above mean? What does that mean in relation to your friend's score? Okay, and really get them to understand that from a conceptual point of view that they couldn't have before because they didn't create the data. They weren't invested in the data, and they didn't see where the data came from. So when they make these numbers, when they understand where these numbers come from and have that foundation, I think they really understand the differences and the variations within the story, right? And so finally, some analysis, right? Maybe one of the ideas is I'm going to carry this through the whole class. So one of the ideas is put them in teams. Have team A race a car for a lap, have team B race a car for a lap, have the teams combine, or each team have their own data set, make displays and analyze them and try to determine, well, which team was better. Well, how do you do that? Each team could have different arguments and each team could be right. But it's the formation of that argument. It's the way you argue about what the numbers are telling you. That's the important part. So both teams could be great. Maybe this team had a higher score as far as lapped, or a lower lap time, so a better score. But maybe this team had less variation. What team is better? Well, it depends on your argument. And if they have that data that they've created and they understand what that data means, then they're going to argue with the numbers you want them to use, right? It's not going to be the canned argument. It's going to be, well, look, all of ours are closer, so as a team, we're better drivers. Or as a team, we had, a couple people that scored really well, so we want them, those are the best. If they have real data and they can analyze it in a way that it's meaningful to them, the hope is that we have better mastery, that they really leave the class understanding what numbers mean. And we know as teachers that numbers and stats is everywhere, and you've got to be good analyzers of data in our world. So if they can leave my classroom, and I don't care how they get it, I think they're really interested in this Xbox. They're like, when is it coming? When is it coming? I'm working on it, I promise. But if they can have that grasp, and if wherever the data comes from, as long as they're interested in it, what great minds does that build for our future? Think about the job skills. Yes, I understand data. I can go into a spreadsheet. I can talk about it. I can analyze it. I can find a z-score. I can tell you how many standard deviations I am from the mean and why my data is better. And that's a student I want to hire. Okay? So that's my project. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.